Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. This is Joe, and we are continuing our playthrough of the 1796 Italian campaign in Field Commander Napoleon from Dan Versen Games. There are two previous videos. This one will be picking up here in what is actually the fourth turn of the game. It is October of 1796. Last campaign before the winter here. And as you can see on the board, first of all, I would say, please check out the other videos if you have not. Let me slide the board down a little bit so you can see a little bit more of it here. So basically, the situation is this. We have Napoleon and his forces right here. They have already captured all of these cities: Turin, Milan, Genoa, and Mantua. There are some Austrian forces here in Adige. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. And some more over here in Klagenfurt. Klagenfurt is the last objective that Napoleon needs to capture in order to win this campaign. Now, in the previous couple videos, I kind of screwed some stuff up, so I'm probably doing better than I should be, to be honest. And I'm going to try to take that into account when it comes down to scoring this particular campaign. And the plan is to play more than one campaign this month as kind of an ongoing series, and there will be other things published on the channel as well. So if you're not a Napoleon fan, do not fear, because there will be other things for you to look at here on the Hexed Encountered channel in November, which I'm calling November with the Emperor. So there will be some Napoleonic related stuff aside from this, hopefully, assuming I have time. But let's get underway here with this October 1796 turn. The advanced turn counter, we already did that. Moves. Okay, so we need to decide what we're going to do here. And honestly, I see one move that's pretty obvious. We're going to take these guys right here, and we're going to move into this area, and we're going to take these guys on in battle. Now, they have a strength of 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 2 more is 11. We're going to have what's called envelopment here because they don't have enough forces to take on this massive, strong army that Napoleon has. So with that in mind, let's talk about how envelopment works briefly if you have not seen it before. So to do that, we're going to move over to the battle side of the board. We have two boards. This is our campaign board, which has the map, as you can see, of the area we're fighting. There are two campaigns on this board that will be used for, well, this board will be used for two campaigns, let's say that correctly. 1796 and 1800. We are going to move now to the other thing, which is the battle board, and I also have the player aid or player help sheet set up there. Okay, so up here we have our basically the board for the battle, which is here, and then this is, as I mentioned, is the player help sheet. So we have to roll for Fog of War here pre-battle. Even though I know right now the balance of power says this is going to be an envelopment, there are things on here that affect stuff, such as gaining or losing supply. They may gain some reinforcements, etc. So I'm going to, this should be down here. Let's roll. We get a 1. So they have 6 supply points. And if they have 4 to 6 supply points, they get a +2 on the roll and -2 supply points. So they're going to drop down to a total of 4 supply points here on the campaign map, which I know you guys can't see, but you'll see it when we move back. And so we go here, and the 1 therefore becomes a 3. And the 3 is you gain 1 scout. So I gain a scout. And I now have 2 scouts. And I haven't used scouts yet in the campaign or in the videos I've done so far. Basically, the main thing scouts do for you is they allow you to re-roll stuff, including your Fog of War roll, and not have a DRM applied to it. So it comes in handy if you roll something that really benefits the enemy. You can re-roll it. But in this case, there's really no need to do that because the balance of power did not change. So now we do our envelopment check. So if we look here, The enemy, as I said, has, you combine the combat values. 7 plus 2 is 9 plus 2 is 11. And over here we have Napoleon and his forces. We have 4, 9, 18, 24, 32, 39, 47. So 47 is obviously more than 3 times 11. Therefore, this is an envelopment. These guys become destroyed. So they will get thrown into the reinforcement cup. And we win that battle without actually having to fight it. So that is useful. And we go here. And Napoleon goes there. Back onto the campaign map. We'll shift back now. Okay, we're back on the campaign map. You can see we've now conquered this area. We are adjacent to them. Now, we did moves, we did resolve battles. Now you can do forced march. Now what a forced march will allow you to do is basically do a second round of fighting. Now I can push into Klagenfurt here and take these guys on, or I can choose not to. But if I do, I have 4 supply points. That would allow me to move 4 units. Napoleon can move by himself, so I could take my 4 most powerful units here if I wanted to. If I was feeling adventurous, it's these top 4, which is 1 cavalry and 3 infantry. And in this one, our counters equal brigades and divisions, so not corps yet. We'll get corps later on. But they have a pretty decent sized force here of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and also fortification and garrison. So I'm inclined to not push on and spend my 4 supply points, but rather keep them because I can use them to purchase new units. I have 2 units that I started the game with that are currently in the dead pile that I can bring back. So with no forced march, there are no further battles to resolve, we get to resupply. And now here on our resupply area, we see we gain 3 supply points and then plus 3 for each French-held city. So base of 3, then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 15. 5 times 3, 15, plus 3, 18. That's going to give us a total of 22 supply here, which is a lot. It is quite a lot. So I'm just going to lay these out here because they're not going to last long because I'm going to be spending them momentarily. So we're starting with 22. I don't have any forces that are reduced at the moment. First thing I'm definitely going to do is, as I mentioned, I'm going to buy my 2 dead units back. Garnier and Mainier, 3 and 5 is 8. That's going to leave me with 14. We'll just do it like this for now. Make change. And then I'll put these guys with the rest of their compadres over here. Now I have 14 supply left. Well, let's see. What do we want to buy here? Going to buy a veteran cannon. So an artillery unit. I think that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to buy that and just do like that. And then I'm going to save some of these. So I have 8 left. So that's going to be a 5 and a 3. All right. So now moving on to our next thing here. We have completed the French turn here in October of 1796. We go to the enemy turn, and the first thing is the enemy orders, which are right here on the map. We need to divide our forces here into groups of 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We'll do 3, 2, and 2 because it's going to be 3 groups, and I don't see the point in having 3, 3, 1. Seems a little fairer to do it this way. So we roll for each one individually. We get a 4, which is hold. So Davidovich will stay in Klagenfurt, which is probably the best move anyway. Then we'll do Kwasdanovich. He gets a 6, which is random. So random, you move to a randomly chosen adjacent area. There are 2 areas, here and here. So we'll go odd and even and roll the die. Okay, so even is here. So Kwasdanovich will go here. So we avoid a battle, and he would have gotten smoked anyway. So that's probably the wiser move. And now we have Melis here, so we'll do him. And he gets a 10, and a 10 is advance. And advance is to move the group toward the closest French force. Move the group toward the French occupied area that has the lowest total combat value. Well, there's only one, and it's here. And poor Melis is going to get enveloped, I'm pretty sure, because he's got a 9. And we already know from before that we had a 40-something, and now we've added 6 more. So we have 15, 23, 32, 38, 43, 46. Wait a minute, I'm probably counting wrong. 7, 15, and 8 is 23, and 9 is 32, 38, 43, 46, 51, 55, 61. So we have a total power of 61, which is way, way more than 9. So we're going to roll for our Fog of War here because this is supposed to be a battle. We know it'll be an envelopment, but we're going to roll for Fog of War. They get a 7. So they have 4 supply points, so they do get a +2 on the roll, and they get -2 supply points, leaving them with 2. So that 7 becomes a 9, and a 9 is inflict 1 hit on your forces in one random French-occupied city. I don't know if that means static forces. It doesn't say mobile forces, which is what these guys are. So I'm gonna, well, we'll do odd and even, okay? Odd and even. Odd is Torin, even is Nice. We got an odd, it's a 9. So we will flip the garrison to its reduced side. So, but now the envelopment will take place and these guys are eliminated. So unfortunately for the Austrians, they're kind of looking like they're in big trouble here. They've got 17 right here and 10 right there. So I don't think I can do a double envelopment because I would need 30 and I would need, what do I have here, 17? Actually, no, 17, there's 26 there. So I may split my forces, although I don't need to kill them. I really don't. Because if I capture this, I win. And I guess they could then attack to try and get it back, but would they really do that? All right, so we have no battles, further battles, I should say, to resolve. So we go to enemy resupply. So here we go. We roll for each enemy city, which they only have 1. And we roll the die. And we get a 6, and a 6 is 1 reinforcement. So that's actually useful. So there's a lot of dead units in this bucket. Let's see what we pull out. Pull out a poor recruit. That's terrible. I shouldn't laugh, but that's just awful for them. So, but I mean, look at the cup. That's full of Austrian units and some Piedmont units as well. And I pulled out a recruit. So yeah, that's unfortunate. So that ends their turn, and we will go on to the February 1797. So if I can win the game in this turn, that is a superior performance. Now they have 7, 14, 17, 19, 23, 28 in here. I do not have enough to triple them, so I am going to have to fight them. The other question is, these two are a total of 10. So do I want to just send everybody into Klagenfurt to try and capture it? I guess I do. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I guess I do. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to move in here. Then we're going to resolve our battle. Okay, so time to fight here. So we'll roll for Fog of War. They get a 5. They only have 2 supply points, so they cannot spend any. And a 5 gives us a 2-turn battle. So this is not going to this is not really going to do much for us here. Yeah, that's tough. 2-turn battle. And I may move Napoleon to this battle from another area, but Napoleon he's already in this area, so that really does not have any impact. This is really tough. I could use one of my scouts to do a re-roll. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to use a scout. We'll do a re-roll. So I'm going to spend one of my scouts, and we're going to re-roll the Fog of War roll. And get a 7, which is now 5 turns. That's better. And it's also transfer 2 of the enemy supply points to you, so that works for me. I now have 10 supply points, which is really sweet, really sweet. Okay, so now we do the envelopment check. I know that we don't have it, so I'm not going to bother to recount it. I already did that. Determine battle plan quantities. So both the French and the enemy have 2. And so we can buy additional French battle plans. It would cost 2 for 1 and 5 for 2. I'm going to spend 5, and I'm going to buy myself 2 extra battle plans so that I can have 4. Which will, because we have so many units, this seems like a good way to maybe take this thing to the brink here. Next would be select insight counters. So I can get insights if I want to. I don't really know if I really want to, though. Like the sweep, I love the sweep because in theory it's an awesome attack. 3 attacks against each rearmost. So you put a cavalry here in reserve, and they would get to roll 3 attacks against the enemy. Everybody in their rear, whatever their rearmost unit, whatever their rearmost line is. Raid is not good for me because they don't have any supply left. Terrain would move everybody in reserve or approach, or to reserve and or approach. Front would let me move 3 of my forces up to the French front, which would be kind of useful. Engineers inflict 1 hit. We already did that one. And morale, we gain a +3 on all shock rolls. I'm not gonna buy any insights, I think. I'm just gonna play this straight up with my 4 battle plans. Okay, so now we get to place French forces. Now we do the enemy forces. All right, so now we would have insight activation, but I did not buy any. We select and place French battle plans. So we're going to do a charge for Stengel. We're going to do a flank for La Harpe. We're going to do a formation. And we'll do an engage on Augereau. So the formation will allow me to turn 3 of these into line, which is what I'm planning on doing. So we'll move on here. Slide this over so you can see it a little better. All right, so now we draw theirs. They get 2. And we'll do Davinovich. We'll do his 2 units since he has, those are the 2 actual real units. So we get a melee and we get an aimed. All right, so they get to go first. So we'll start with his cavalry here. If line, no roll. So he's not in line. He does have to roll. He gets an 8, so this fails to activate. I actually wanted him to activate, but that's okay. If line, no roll, so we have to roll here. He needs a 6 or less. And he gets a 10. So he also does not activate. Now, these guys, we have to roll. They would get an advance because they're more than 2 away, so they need a 4 or less. They get a 4, so he gets to advance. And then this guy needs a 3 or more and gets a 5, so he gets to stay put. So that was not really what I was hoping to see, but yeah. So we'll do La Harpe first. So he's got only 2. We are 2. Well, does this mean I can't? Oh, he is 2 away. What am I worrying about here? So So only 2. So I was gambling that they would get somebody up in here. So if column, no roll, he's in column. So we're going to advance, and then we're going to advance again. And he's going to get a shock -3. However, he's in column. Column means you automatically fail a shock, if I remember correctly. Infantry and cavalry in column formation automatically fail shock checks. So he's gone. And then he gets an attack, so he can attack. He's going to roll a 9 here to attack this row. And roll the 4. So that's 1 hit, and it gets applied to the lowest, which would be the garrison. So the garrison gets reduced, and I just realized I didn't fire for the fortification. I'm going to do that right now. And he got a 6, so no damage. Okay, so this is done. And we'll now go to, I guess we'll do Stengel with a charge order. So he goes advance, advance, and then attack. So he's going to attack. And he has an 8/4, and he gets a 7, so that is 1 hit. So it gets applied here again. So the garrison is destroyed. And then, yeah, that's it for that one. Now we have Augereau has an engage. He gets to move up. There's nobody here. He would get a shock. He gets to turn to line and attack. No. Now, Serrurier, we're going to march. So if column, no roll. And then, yeah, advance or retreat. Cavalry can advance twice with that. So with that in mind, we're going to give Kilmaine that same order, and he's going to go 2. And then we'll have Mainier move up 1, Garnier move up 1, Macquard move up 1. We're all getting march. Oh, I need to roll for activation. This isn't all automatic. So 8 for him. Gets a 6, so he's good. 7 for Kilmaine, who was actually back here, right? He was back here, so he would be good as well. Macquard needs a 6 or less, gets a 10, so he's staying put. Garnier needs a 6 or less, gets a 6, so he can move up. Mainier needs a 6, gets an 8, he's staying put. These two will get fire orders, so we'll roll the 6 first and get a 1, so that is a hit, and it would get applied here. And now we'll roll for this one, and he gets a 10, so that's not a hit. Now we'll use this formation to change 1 to 3 formations. We'll change this one, and this one. Yeah, that works. All right, so that is the end of the first turn. So we start over again. Inside activation again, skip, select and place French battle plans. I'm going to give Le Harpe a volley order. We're going to give a grape shot order to our recruit cannon back there. We will give, let's see, we'll give Kilmaine a push order. And we get 1 more. We will give Stengel an engage order. So he's going to have to roll for activation. Now we'll draw for the enemy. So this one's not great for us and officers. So we have to add 3 to our activation rolls, and then closing. Yeah. All right. So we'll roll because he's not infantry, so he needs a 7. Gets an 8. So this one again, I don't believe this. Doesn't work. He's got a 4 for activation. For combat, 0-1, no roll, so we don't have to activate him. Line attack. So he's going to attack with, needs a 4 or less. Gets an 8. Now we'll roll for him. He's going to try to advance. They're in column, so they don't have to roll. And I missed that last time, obviously. So he's going to advance and stop right there. Our cannon will fire, gets a 4, so that is a hit. So I think it's the closest enemy unit and the least powerful, which I think would mean it's, yeah, in terms of combat power, it's kill main, so he's going to be destroyed because he's a one-step unit, so we're going to lose that. So that kind of sucks because I had big plans for him, but it is what it is. So we'll start here. If column, no roll, so we have to roll an 8 or less. Roll a 5. So he's going to advance, shock -2, so this is here. So he needs to roll a 1 or a 2, and rolls a 2, so no shock. But now he goes to line, and he attacks with a +1/+1, meaning a 9 is 1 hit, 9 or less, and a 5 is 2 hits. And he gets a 10, the most useless roll. That is fantastic. All right, we'll do our, that's done. We'll do our volley now. So we rolled a 1. So infantry attack, basically it's 13, so he's not gonna miss, so he's dead. So we managed to pull one thing off. Now he gets to, yeah, he gets 1 attack, so that's that. Then we're going to try to, let's do our grape shot here. So it's an attack +2/+1, so it's an 8, and if he rolls a 1, it's 2 hits. It's a 2, so the recruit, actually, wait a minute, I think I applied the hits incorrectly. Yes, I applied the hits incorrectly. So he's still around, he gets reduced, and then, oh, he would be eliminated. Actually, it's going to end up not mattering because the cannon shot will kill this one. So I corrected myself for basically no reason. All right, so this is done as well. We'll have this guy fire now. It's a 3. So that's going to reduce him. And because he's cavalry, he gets eliminated. So it goes in there. Now, the rest of these we have to roll for activation. So we'll do this one first. So he needs a 5 or less. Gets a 6, so no, he needs a 4 or less. It's an 8, so no, he needs a 3 or less. Gets a 1, so he can advance. Card needs a 3 or less. Gets a 9. Manier needs a 3 or less. Gets a 3, so he can move up. And that's the end of that turn. This goes away. And they are down to just their fortification now. So they're not getting any battle plans here. So we're going to go select and place French battle plans. So we know we're going to want to do a charge. And I'm going to do a prepare so he can go first. So that's 2. And then we'll do an engage with him. That's 3. And then we'll do a flank. Well, we can't do a flank. Let's do a flank with him, because that'll get him up there. And then we'll do a formation in general, so that I can move this guy up and then advance him, and then flip him back to line. Actually, I don't need to worry about shock anymore, so I don't need to do that. We'll do grape shot again. I guess I can slide these over. Okay, so they don't get a battle plan because they don't have any mobile units. So because of the prepare, he gets to go first before everybody else. So he's going to do an advance. Now the shock, I think shock still applies when it's a fortification, because it doesn't say it doesn't. because you're rolling against the combat value, which is a 4. So with the -3, it's a 1. So unless he rolls a 1, he's going to be shocked. And he rolled a 9. So that's going to reduce him. And then he gets to attack as well. And he has an 8/4 and rolls a 5. That destroys the fortification and ends the battle. So we don't need to worry about anything else. We've won. We've captured Klagenfurt. And I think that means we can basically not worry about this anymore. So we've finished the battle. I'm going to reset this to 2 for the next battle, and because I think it's in my best interest to go to the other town. I've got 5 supply. I can use them to move down and take Bassano and end the game. They, basically just end the game. So that's the end of the battle. And we will pick things up here after I ship back to the campaign map. Back on the campaign map. And I have 5 supply points. We are in the forced march area. So I can use 1 supply point to force march a unit and do another round of battling before we do resupply and then go over to the enemy turn. They have a total of 10 strength points here. If I send more than 30, or 30 or more, I should say, into this area via force march, I can end the game via envelopment on these guys, assuming that when we roll Fog of War, they don't get a reinforcement or a garrison. I think that's worth an attempt. Now, Napoleon can move for free, but he would need to bring some actual armies with him. So if we bring La Harpe, who's 9, Serrurier, who's 7, Augereau, who's 8, Stengel, who's 8, that's only 4, and that's 16, 23, 32. And then if we added in maybe this other artillery unit, that would be 38. So that way, even if they draw a reinforcement, depending on what that reinforcement is, we might be able to still do this without a battle. And if we do have to fight a battle, we'll still have a pretty good force. So that's going to cost me all 5 of my supply points, which I'm okay with. So we go here. Now we would resolve our battle. I'm going to roll on the Fog of War. I'm not going to move the camera. I'll just roll and tell you what it was. And it was a 2, which is a good roll for me. I gained 2 supply points. It would be a 3-turn battle, but I'm going to put the supply points here, even though they don't really matter at this point. Because what does matter is we do our envelopment check, and as I just pointed out, I have 9, plus 7 is 16, plus 8 is 24, plus 8 more is 32, plus 6 is 38. They have 10, I'm almost 4 to 1. That's envelopment. They get destroyed. And they no longer have any armies, nor do they have any cities. We've cleared the whole map. We have done so in the superior performance here for 30. But what I'm going to do, because I screwed up so often and I probably gave myself some advantages that I shouldn't have, and in fact I know I did at least once or twice that I remember that I discovered while I was actually editing the videos, I would like to, I'm going to bump it down to a historical one. So I'll give myself 20 victory points, not 30. And we'll just go with a historical victory, because I feel like I probably would have still won, but it may have taken an extra turn. So, I'm not going to bother with French resupply or anything like that, because this campaign is over, and it will be time to move on to the next campaign, which would be the 1798 Egyptian campaign. And here is a kind of sneak peek at the board for the 1798 Egyptian adventure, as it's called right here. So again, you'll have your rolling for enemy forces. Here are our cities: Alexandria, Cairo, El Arish, Gaza, Jaffa, and Accra. And your starting forces here are setups. The counters in this one will be divisions. The French will get 3 supply points. The enemy will start with 5. The French will have in France, in Alexandria, Napoleon, Desailles, Rainier, Kleber, Minot, Bonn, Dumas, Caffarelli, and Guidis. The Mamelukes will be based in Cairo, right here. And they will have Murad, Koraim, and Cairo. Murad is going to have 4, I guess. And then the British in Accra will start with Abercrombie, and then you have a bunch of late arriving forces here, including the Ottomans. The objectives, I already kind of named them out, except for Accra. That's apparently not an objective. Battle plans, no Napoleon, 0. So you kind of want to keep Napoleon with you. This map has a lot less flexibility, I guess, in terms of spreading out your forces. But having no battle plans, that's rough. Enemy gets 2. Special rules, plague. French refits will cost 4 supply points instead of 2. Harsh conditions. No cannons. Fortress Accra. Enemy forces never move out of Accra. Do not resupply for Accra unless there's a French force within one area. But Accra is not shown here as an objective. It's Alexandria, Cairo, El Arish, Gaza, and Jaffa. Interesting. Outdated weapons, so no cannons for the enemy in their reinforcement cup. The Battle of the Nile during October 1798, which is right here. And until the end of the campaign, so starting here until the end, you cannot purchase forces during the resupply step. So that's interesting. That's going to be a challenge. And actually, I don't see a historical. I don't see because it says it here, I guess. Play through all campaign turns. Score 3 victory points for each French force that survives the campaign. If you also hold Accra, score 15. Superior is 30 plus, historical 29 to 17, inferior 16 and under. Defeat. Hold Alexandria at the end of each campaign turn or the campaign ends in defeat. So we can't lose Alexandria, and everything else basically is based on your forces surviving. So this is more of a battle of attrition than it is of conquest. So that's interesting. This is going to be an interesting one to play, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm giving you kind of a sneak peek here because this video ended up being a little shorter. So I'm probably going to kind of basically just repeat this maybe in a little bit more in depth at the start of the next video, which will be the start of this particular campaign. There's a lot of turns here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 turns. That's a lot. But I think the battles here will be a little bit smaller. The French will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The enemy, well, there's a whole bunch of Ottoman forces that might arrive. The French are going to gain 1. But we're mostly facing Mameluke and Ottoman forces in this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you are enjoying this, feel free to, continue to follow along. I'm certainly going to continue playing. I feel like I have a much better handle on how the game plays now than I did when I started. So there should be less fumbling about here in this particular campaign, and just the different setting and victory conditions and so on for this one will make it a little interesting. Before we return to Europe, and actually I guess we would return to Italy for 1800 next. I think I'd have to go through all the campaigns because there's a bunch of them in this game. So that's going to do it for this video. I do appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions, comments, etc., please feel free to post them. If you would, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, etc. That is always welcome. As always, I say that all the time, but I really do mean it. The support comes in handy. So if you do enjoy, please consider subscribing. If you are a subscriber, I do appreciate the support. And yeah, that is going to do it for this one. So until next time, I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered, and as always, happy gaming.